All right, we're going to start off today with a little bit of the Game Awards 2024. So, of course, it did happen last night. I watched the entire thing live. Now, it was very long. I was hyped the whole time, but it took a long time. So, because of that, I went to bed immediately because I have a normal day job and I was up until like 11 o'clock watching it, so gotta wake up early and, go to work the next day. So we work today, get home, now we make a little video for you. So this isn't my reactions to the videos. Instead, I'm just gonna kind of talk about them as I had experienced them in the moment, and yeah, we'll kind of go from there. What I'll do actually, I mean, you can see the names at the top, of course, but I'm gonna put them as like my most anticipated to like least anticipated, and I think that's about where we are. So there was a ton of game announcements, but these are the ones that kind of hit me the most. So first off, we have Dying Light. So Dying Light here, oh, Dying Light is a love-hate relationship, right? So Dead Island back in the day, the trailer for that initially is one of the best trailers I've probably ever seen for a game. And then Dead Island 2 took forever to come out, but in the meantime, Dying Light was made. And Dying Light was really pretty good. It wasn't that bad at all. Dying Light 2, it missed the mark for me. I still enjoyed it, but it was kind of missing some of the aspects that they promised. They were like, oh, we're going to make it where you have these choices that'll dynamically change the story in the world. And they did a tiny bit, like not as much as they had shown. In the trailers, they acted as if you chose one specific, group of people. You would end up making the world flourish with, fresh water and grass and all this other stuff. Or it would be more militaristic if you chose this other faction. And none of that ever happened. So the gameplay reminded me a lot of Dying Light 1, but with some enhancements. It was a good game. It was very much like Dying Light 1, but just a little bit bigger. Not necessarily better, just bigger. But as you're seeing with this looks different. Now, I kind of don't trust it because I want to be able to see it first, just like they did with Dying Light 2. I want to see the game before I make a full judgment. But Dying Light 2 was still pretty hype, and I enjoy running around, killing some zombies and humans, and the graphics look kind of insane, but I love me a good first-person zombie game. And Dying Light has kind of scratched that itch for a long time, so I am pretty excited for this The Beast. It's like a standalone side game to a degree. I don't really know if it's part of the storyline, whatever it may be, but hey, if it stays gritty and it stays just as gorgeous as its trailer shows, I'm there for it. And now moving on to Crimson Desert. So Pearl Abyss. Pearl Abyss is the creator of Black Desert Online, the MMO. Now, at launch, that game, oh my god, it blew my socks off. Me and my friends were all playing it. We had our characters AFK fishing throughout the night. Look at this vista, holy moly. Pearl Abyss knows how to make a graphically and honestly mechanically good feeling game. But something about that was lacking in the MMO. It was not as engaging and it kind of didn't keep you for the long haul. It also had some rough PvP aspects and other things, but this is single player. This is not an MMO. Sorry, I'm a little tired. Like I said, I worked all day. Just got home. Anywho, this looks good. I mean, I'm not expecting a ton. I don't really know what to expect. But the things that we've seen about it are intriguing, and I like me a good open world game. What can I say? I'm a sucker for Ubisoft trash. So if this is anything like that, and it looks like it kind of is to a degree, but it kind of ramped up because boy, did they make a lot of money from Black Desert. So if they took all that money and they're dumping it into here, I'll take it. And then next we have Mafia. Now, Mafia, the Old Country, is set in the Old Country. I don't remember what year they said it was in. Maybe we'll see here in the trailer. But some of the Mafia games were pretty damn good. Again, open world, but kind of focusing on the smaller stories of the characters and just the world that it's in. Some games kind of forget that and they keep going bigger and bigger in scale, and I think that's where 3 failed. So 3 was a damn good story, but the open world aspects were mediocre at best. It tried to mimic GTA and it tried to mimic a lot of other open world games, and it did okay. It wasn't bad, but Mafia, the Old Country, this looks pretty good. Now, do I know if Hangar 13 is up to snuff? Do I know if this is going to turn out to be the best open world, whatever type of game it is? Because we don't truly know, right? We haven't got any like pure gameplay yet. These are all cutscenes, more or less. Who knows? But it looks pretty fucking good. It definitely has the like art direction down where it looks gritty realism. It has amazing facial animations, but yeah, it looks good overall. I'm pretty excited for Mafia. We'll see if it holds up to the old games. I played snippets of the old ones with 1 and 2, and then I plan to go back with the remaster, just never did. But Mafia 3 was a bit of a letdown, so it kind of halted my progress on wanting to play those, but maybe we'll go back to it. Either way, I hope this one turns out to be good. And now, on to the next hype game. We have Turok Origins. Now, Turok is old as shit. I remember playing it back on N64. Now, watching this trailer, I actually thought it was Ark Survival Evolved 2 or whatever that game is. I never played it, but that's exactly what it looks like, more or less. And I think that's what they were kind of going for, maybe, at first. It's like neo-futuristic looking, and I don't remember the old Turok being like that, but who knows. Anyways, with this, it looks incredible. It's made by Saber Interactive, the people behind Space Marine. Now, I have no idea where they're going with this, but I hope it turns out great. It looks great. It kind of looks like Warframe a little bit, at least to me, but killing dinosaurs. I'm hype. It looks amazing. And then to Outer Worlds 2. Now, Outer Worlds 1 was a pretty decent game, not to be mixed with Outer Wilds, the amazing game. Outer Worlds was Obsidian trying something a little bit different. Of course, they created a ton of old school, not necessarily old school, but older classic RPGs. But then whenever it came to Fallout New Vegas, not Fallout 3, this whole trailer's actually really funny. But Outer Worlds 2 looks like a step up from the first one. The first one was a little disappointing in certain degrees, but overall, a pretty solid package. And all they had to do was actually fix a couple of smaller things and it would have been great, but it kind of landed in the middle for me. I enjoyed my time with it, but I wasn't blown away. It would be a solid 7 if I gave it a score. But this one looks to be a quite large leap forward, and I hope it is, because in the trailer they joke around of it being 3 times the size, but only the second game or whatever it is. It's a great trailer. Go watch it. And then we go on to Split Faction, because I'm done with Outer Worlds. I don't want to talk about that anymore. But Split Fiction, my apologies, not Faction. Now this is Joseph Fares in his game studio Hazelight, yeah. So that guy is kind of insane, but he's hilarious and funny at the same time. They made Tale of Two Brothers. They made It Takes Two, as you see there. They've made a ton of awesome co-op games, and this one looks to be ratcheting that up to be pretty insane. Now, I did not get to play all the way through It Takes Two because the friend that I was playing with just kind of stopped, which is fine, but I watched a lot of it and I played about halfway through and it was absolutely amazing. So I do really hope this one holds up to that same caliber as the previous games, but if anything, this studio has proven that they know how to make a fucking game. I mean, this guy has proven time and time again that co-op is where it's at, but they're gonna live within that co-op world where they're gonna mash together all these diverse mechanics and graphic styles behind things, and you're gonna eat it up. And I plan to. With this one, I don't care if I have another person to play with. I'll play with my fucking toes if I have to. This looks awesome. So this is pretty high up. Let me get rid of Outer Worlds up there, but yeah, I am pretty hyped for this one. This one is one that I will be day one buying. I'll play it with my kids if they want to, if it's okay for that. I think it is, but the game creator likes to curse a lot, so we'll see. But I will be playing this one for sure. And on to the next insanely weird but hype game. As you can see down in the bottom description, studio behind Ico or Eco in Shadow of the Colossus. Now, Shadow of Colossus is some people's favorite game of all time, or at least they consider it to be a masterwork of mechanical gameplay. And then kind of this diverse storytelling that's done through the world building. Instead of just force feeding it directly to you through dialogue, it actually takes the nuance of characters and world that you're put in, and it teaches you, a life lesson. And this seems to be no different. I would trust these people with my newborn child. Like, they make some crazy good shit, and I would trust them to the end of days. But yeah, this is one that I was not expecting ever. Like, I honestly thought that team and everybody behind those games was moving on to other projects. They, took a different path in life, and they were never going to return to make something like this. But here we are, and this looks very, very good. I know I say, oh my god, it's amazing. It looks great. I'm gonna play this. Because I am. I play a lot of games, yes. Then, Ninja Gaiden. Holy shit, we're starting to get into my most hype ones. So, I've played quite a bit of all the Ninja Gaidens. I couldn't tell you any of the story or anything like that because I don't fucking remember. But Ryu Hayabusa is a badass, and Ninja Gaiden Black was, at the time, probably the hardest game I ever played, and still to this day probably is up there in some of the hardest gaming. But this one is from the makers of Blasphemous, and as you can see, it is gorgeous in animation. But let's get to actual gameplay if we can right here. Yeah, look at this beautiful pixel art that they have. Oh, gorgeous. It's so good. I gotta change my pants after this. No, I love 2D side scrollers. Like, it reminds me of The Messenger, but mixed with everything that I love about any sort of side scrolling action, super fast, super slick Metroidvania. And this looks like the best of the best. So holy shit, I'm gonna play that. Now, I'm not gonna talk as long as this trailer is, because it is fucking long, but it is The Witcher 4, which I called the moment that I saw this lady sit in this fucking tub. I was like, yeah, look at that belt, look at this, like, that's Witcher, it's gotta be. But the world building that The Witcher has always had is beyond many other games. It's in a league of its own. It always has been. The books, the games, even the TV show is really good. Now, it's starting to get kind of bad for the TV show, but you'll see that when it comes out. Anywho, this is an entirely new thing that they're making where Ciri is going to be the main character. And she's a badass. Like, she's insanely good looking. As they said in a couple of the press releases, we played as Geralt, and he was a veteran Witcher, and he was known for killing a bunch of monsters and accomplishing a lot within his life. But Ciri is kind of green. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's a little bit newer, but she's grown up in it. So we get to play as her and kind of, forge that path for ourselves and actually learn to be a Witcher on our own. So I am hype, and I hope that Geralt is in the background being like, hey, I'm gonna push you, I'm gonna be that dad to like back you up, and yeah, we're gonna fuck some shit up. So The Witcher is always amazing to see. The double swords, the Igni, all of the above, all of the magic systems and political systems in play. Oh, and on to the next one, we have Onimusha. What the fuck? I was not expecting this at all. Like, what the fuck? I am at a lack of words because Onimusha was a game that I was always intrigued by, but only ever saw it. I never got to play it myself. My dad never got it back in the day. I never went back to go play them, but I watched a lot of different videos about them, story, lore, old school, whatever, gameplay mechanics, all this kind of stuff about it. But I get to play a new Onimusha, so that means I have to find a way to go play the old ones. But this was insanely cool looking. Like, I know it has some Dark Souls vibes, and people are going to say that about anything nowadays. It's a third-person action game, right? But it's Capcom. It might be a Devil May Cry kind of feel to it, or it could be, a little bit heavier, like a Monster Hunter with weighty combat. We will see, but yeah, this is fucking right up my alley. I'm a big sucker for anything that's like third-person action and dark, and this has all of those aspects, like feudal Japan or whatever it may be. It's, yes. And then we are on to Naughty Dog's new IP. So Naughty Dog is one of the best game developers ever. You almost can't get better than them. They have created some of the biggest and most memorable franchises, especially for PlayStation. Like, they have done so much for the PlayStation brand and Sony that, goddamn, they are their fucking goose egg. But anywho, Intergalactic. What a simple but good name. Kind of like Uncharted. The Last of Us was a little weird at first, but it grew on us, right? But Uncharted was a fucking amazing name. And then Intergalactic is a really good name as well. I'm not sure about the Heretic Prophet, but this thing right here, ignore the Porsche, but Cowboy Bebop vibes. Are you fucking shitting me? Cowboy Bebop is my favorite anime of all time. And this is set in like an alternate 80s, I think. Now, I know they have some pretty big actors that they've got in this game, including this lady. She's in a ton of TV shows and movies nowadays. I see her all the time. But I have no clue where they're going to go with this or what they're going to do. But I know that Naughty Dog is going to fuck this game up in the best way possible. I am so incredibly hyped for this game. Like, I don't even know what to say. I know that they only show a tiny bit here and like, a snippet of what combat could be. But boy, I will tear this fucking game up. Like, look at that. Look at it. Oh, yes. You can't get better than that. You really can't. So this is an IP that is brand new from the ground up from an insanely talented development team. And we're going to see where they go with it. It's probably not coming out for at least 2, maybe 3 years. But man, that one is almost the most hyped thing. Because the next one, even thinking about it, has my arm hair standing up right now. I cried twice. I'm not even joking. I cried twice yesterday. Once when this was first announced and I watched it, and then whenever I watched it again right before bed, I was like, let me watch it in like, full HD and not on the stream from the Game Awards where it's like kind of messed up and choppy, whatever. I want to watch it in just the best way possible. In Okami, this is so special to me because I actually started writing a video a couple of months ago about Okami, and I didn't end up completing it. It didn't end up going anywhere because I had other ideas of what I wanted to make it, but I actually wanted to go through and complete Okami again. So I actually went and bought it about a month ago, and I started playing it. My daughter thinks it's awesome, and we played a few hours of it, and I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to replay this game, then rewrite my video maybe, and come up with new ideas, and just release this masterpiece of a video that's kind of dedicated to Okami and the art behind it, the way that they chose to create the Metroidvania, Zelda-like. I just wanted to make a video that kind of, gushed over everything that this game is. It came out in 2006, and it is the best Zelda game ever, in my opinion. I am at a loss for words for this game. It is beyond my wildest dreams. It takes the medium of games and actually proves why it's art. And it goes beyond the aspects of it's just a game. No, Okami is art. It truly is. And making a sequel to this 20-year-old game almost is why I love games. I will never, ever stop enjoying games, but the reason why I love them is for moments like this. Okami's sequel is the biggest thing that could have came out of this. Intergalactic is cool, yes, but Okami sequel is gonna blow people's minds. Like, it is going to create shockwaves, I promise you. So if you haven't played Okami originally, go back, play it before this one comes out, and experience literally one of the best games ever made. Also one of the prettiest games ever made. I promise you will not be disappointed. But that's going to be it for the Game Awards 2024 highlights. I just wanted to go over the games that I found to be the most hype, and the rest of them, there were some good ones, but these were just the biggest ones. So I didn't want to make a stupid long video because this one is long enough. And I hope you enjoyed it with me, and I'll see you next time.